January 10, 2026. I have been missing in action the last couple of days because I've had a stomach flu. Wasn't pleasant, but certainly hasn't been as bad as ones I've experienced in the past. And I'm glad to finally be bringing this video to you today. So a few days ago, before I got sick, I wanted to share with you a personal testimony relating to tithing. It's a very cool testimony, and I really do look forward to sharing that with you sometime soon. But today I wanted to share with you a scripture. It's what I feel to do, and it's out of Luke 16:10, and it says, "Whoever is faithful with very little will also be faithful with much. Also, whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." Now, obviously, this scripture bears great importance, I believe, and somewhat relates to eventually one day being accountable before the Lord, being faithful with the little things that might frustrate you, the little things that might feel mundane or unimportant, the relationships that you might think. When I mean relationships, I mean day-to-day people, running into people, talking to people, dealing with them at work, at home, in the neighbourhood. They might be a thorn in the side, I guess, and we're called to be, to love our neighbours for starters, and to love our enemies even, but to be a light unto the world, and being faithful in these small, mundane, annoying, trivial jobs and situations might not be what some of us really want to do. However, I do. It is important. I love the scripture. In fact, I've carried this scripture a lot with me through the years, doing mundane jobs and working for difficult people, being not appreciated, all of those unpleasant, unsavory times when we think, what are we doing? But what we are doing is, the scripture, what we are doing, or what we can do, is do everything as though doing it unto the Lord. And so everything we've been called to do, and that might be, for me, it was cleaning toilets for years. I was a cleaner. I loved it, to be honest, but sometimes it was annoying because you'd go into a toilet in particular and it would be messy, and being on your hands and knees and scrubbing the toilet wasn't always fun, of course not, but it was somewhat demeaning sometimes. Not to be cleaning a toilet, but to be cleaning the messes of people who wouldn't consider that someone was coming to clean, if that makes sense. So, however, that scripture, do everything as though doing it unto the Lord, really made it a lot more purposeful and gave it a lot more meaning. I used to say to myself, "I'm cleaning your toilet, Lord," and that made it different. Made it it felt more important, if that makes sense. But back to the original scripture, whoever's faithful with little will be faithful with much. I think the two go together quite well. They marry together and go hand in hand. To be faithful with those little things builds things up in you, or has the potential to build things up in us, and that is, it builds our trust with others, because you know, it builds relationships, whether they like you or not. God sees all and he knows all. But yeah, it builds trust. It prepares you for future success in bigger things to do. God might call you to do bigger things because you've been faithful in doing the smaller things. It builds character because being faithful while doing things you don't particularly like, yes, it does build character. And yeah, it builds oh yes, so sorry, not only can we, you know, take these scriptures into our work life, personal life, home life, into our relationships, all of that kind of stuff, we can also bring it into our spiritual life, which is super important to do. You know, when God calls us to do the small things might be all that we have at that moment. What I'm trying to say is, you might be very busy during the day with kids, with work, with the house, with shopping, cooking, all of that kind of stuff. But if you're able to fit 5 minutes in your day to spend time with God, if that's all you have, you might be completely drained of energy, but you've given all you have in that small 5 minutes, and you're giving it to God, and you're talking to him, you're giving him your day, and you're allowing him to minister to you. You know, that 5 minutes in time will grow because God will give you more time, because you've been faithful in that small time that you've had with him. So yeah, I hope that all makes sense. But anyway, I'm going to go. Oh, actually, before I go, I will share with you that yes, over the last 48 hours, I have been faithful with my small things, and I'm talking my little quail eggs. So yes, I breed quail. I get around 18 quail eggs a day, which equates to over 100 or around 100 a week. And that's a lot of quail eggs. So 3 quail eggs equals a chicken egg. But yeah, over the last 48 hours, I processed about over 200, close to 250 quail eggs. That certainly kept me busy. I like to be faithful with the small provision I have. And yes, it is a lot of quail eggs, but I've had to work hard to make sure that we have a reliable food source for a lot of reasons. And breeding quail allows us to always have some kind of food on hand. But yeah, so over the last couple of days, excuse me, I made a lot of different kinds of foods, and I will add those at the end of this video with some descriptions on it. So I'm learning to edit, and yeah, so I'll leave it at that. I feel like I'm not making much sense today, but that's okay. I am doing my best. So I hope that this message blesses you somehow, and that you'll take it with you and carry it into your days ahead. And I will see you in another video sometime soon.